What up? What up? Can you hear me? What up, Justin? Hollywood? Let me know if you guys can hear me. There should be a little area where you can speak. Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I think you could speak too if there should be a microphone enabled. Let me know. Okay, so I just invited you to speak as well. So you should be able to show your camera and audio. Let me know, let me know. Let me know in the chat if you can speak now. And thanks for your patience. I just set up this Discord not too long ago. And yeah, really technical, but I think I got it finally. I am RJ59. So Hollywood Savage, I actually grew up with him in high school. We played sports together back in the good old days. So it's pretty refreshing to get people that I know. We have, I think, a couple more people that may show up, but I have an old friend that I grew up with. Her name is Fumi, and she's trying to get back into day trading as well. So I think this is the beginning of a new community. So super excited. Obviously, you guys saw me get more aggressive with the trading content and everything, and just how to take a break with just social media in general, kind of revise everything. But I'm actually really motivated and excited about building this community, building services around it, and just continuing to trade while other people can learn at the same time. So that's kind of the goal right now. This is going to be more of an informal introduction. So if you guys have any questions, just kind of hop in and basically just chime away. But I'm going to share what I do and kind of break everything down, how I make money. And then basically, if you guys have any questions around the industry, around the instruments that I trade, we can kind of go into a Q&A. But how I started about 6.5 years ago, and I was in an office, I saw charts, and then I was like, hey, what is this? And basically I was hooked ever since. They told me how much money they made. Dude was like, yeah, I made 700 last year. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he was like, I made 700,000. So I started going into his office because I was working in a little small office. And then I just started picking his brain, just learning, and eventually I started going by myself and just getting into the markets by myself. So I started on demo accounts. Then I eventually started throwing a little bit of money, a little $1,000 here, a little 2,500 here, and I actually lost money the first 3 years, and then I had to figure out a way to basically get access to more capital. So I didn't have a lot of money in the savings, to be honest with you. So I was like, okay, my trading is decent now. You know what I'm saying? My trading, I can actually make money, but on $1,000 account, I was only making $100 a week, or a few hundred a month. So it just wasn't impactful enough for me to quit my job or make a living off of it. And years later, this was years later, but I finally stumbled upon prop firms. Justin, do you know what a prop firm is by chance? Let me know in the chat. You've heard of them. Okay. What about you, RJ? And do your guys' mics work, or are you guys just choosing to just chat. Let me know because I want to be able to fix that. Let me see. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys can actually use the audio. Justin, can you speak in the mic, or are you choosing to? Okay, I see. Okay. Let me know, Justin. Okay, no worries. All right, so prop firms are basically it's short for proprietary firms, and basically it's just a company who has capital and it's centralized around day trading and investments, right? So what they do, let's pretend like I'm a prop firm and I have tens of millions of dollars in the investment firm. What they do is they hire talented individuals that know how to trade, basically 1099, right? And if you're good, then you take a stress test, basically a challenge, right? And you prove that you can actually do some damage in the markets. And then if you're adequate enough, then they'll give you access to capital. So it's not them giving you actual money, like here's a check for $100,000, here's a check for $200,000. It's not like that. You're going to be managing their capital, and then you get a profit share. So typically prop firms in the foreign exchange markets, right, are 80-20. Some of them will share 90%, but the standard is around 80%. So that means you keep 80%, and then the prop firm would keep 20%. And that's their business model, right? They do make money from the challenges, right? You have to pay to take the challenge. So, it's a little extra source of revenue, but in exchange, right? Like just to give you an example, $549 to get a $100,000 account. So, my thinking, right? My logic behind it was like, okay, I have a $1,500 account and I'm making a few $100s. Why don't I invest $550 to get access to $100,000? That was my logic behind it, and that's the whole reason why prop firms exist. And so, if I'm getting 5% gains, right? 5% returns on $1,000 account, that's really only like $50, right? So that ain't shit. But if I do 5% on a $100,000 account, then I just made $5,000. So you have the same skill set, but it's basically, I'll get to your question, Justin. It's basically, it's percentage. It's just scaled up. So there's plenty of prop firms out there that you can choose from. I've been in this space for a while. Some of them shut down, and some of them weren't legit. And I'll explain it in a long story short. But some of the prop firms grew so fast that some traders were doing really well, and they weren't actually an investment firm where they had real capital. They were just, paying whatever the saying is, paying Peter to pay Bob, right? So they're making revenue off the services, the challenge fees, right, which is like $500-$600. But what happened was the economies of scale. So like they scaled, they grew really fast. And then eventually, they had legit traders, taking profits like $20,000, $15,000 a month. And so it wasn't sustainable because they didn't have enough revenue to pay. And so that is why some prop firms do shut down. There's the simulated ones where, there's not real capital and they just pay you and you don't have to worry about it, right? But there is that risk of them shutting down, or you being a risk, right? Which is, dang, like this dude's really good trader, like I can't even afford to pay him a profit. And then there's other prop firms that are legit, they're A-book, they actually grant you a live account, right? So the prop firms that don't have live funds, typically you're going to be trading on a demo account. And then, the live funds, obviously you're going to get access to a live account. So the prop firm that I trust and use, it's called Funder Pro. And it's because of that reason. They're A-book, they actually give you a live account with funds in it. And yeah. So that is the prop firm that I use, and you can do research. There's a whole bunch of stuff online, lots of noise too. But I've been doing this for a while, and I kind of just went through all the mud to figure things out. So yes, so that was kind of like I wouldn't say it was a hack, but that was my journey to figure out how to actually make money. Because when I started, I think I was like, damn, I'm getting old. I think I was like 30, almost 31 or something like that. And so essentially, sorry, I'm like losing track, but essentially there was like younger traders, like, so there's like this community of like 27-year-olds, and they were really excited about making a few $100s a week. And I'm like, hey, this is not a career, like I need to make more money. And so I finally stumbled upon prop firms, and this is a legit way to not only make money on the side, keep your full-time job, right, but make money in the markets with a legit capital. And yeah, so the instruments that I trade are mainly Forex, indices. RJ, you already know that by now. And Justin, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Forex. I think you mentioned stocks a while ago when we were chatting, but it's all the same thing, right? Futures, stocks. When you have a margin account, you're basically just using leverage. So like, higher risk, higher reward kind of thing, right? So same thing with foreign exchange. You can have a leveraged account. So if you risk $1,000 to make $3,000, you're going to either make 3,000, or you're going to lose 1,000, right? And so that's why Forex is very popular. There's a little bit of controversy around it because there's just so many people doing it, so many gurus and everything. But the reason why you do see a lot of people is because the barrier to entry to get a margin account is very low compared to stock options, right? Like you need more capital to trade options. And so that so you've never heard about it, never used it though. Okay, yeah. And so that is the difference between foreign exchange and options. It's just the barrier to entry. So there's a lot more younger people that don't really have a lot of money, so they choose to go Forex because they don't have to put $10,000 to start up an options account on their E-Trade. Yeah, so that was kind of like my path. And I was using an old MetaTrader kind of platform to trade, which was like built in the 2000s. If you guys can see my screen, this is Trade Locker right here. So it's very, very modern, really easy to execute on. And when it comes to these prop firms, there is a good amount of instruments that you can trade on. So if you can see my mouse, you're going to see a lot of currency pairs, but you can also trade gold, oil. There's the Japanese index. The NAS 100 just means the NASDAQ, S&P 500. You guys know that. And then even UK indices. You can trade copper, gold, silver, and then all the Bitcoin currencies, and then and yeah. So in my opinion, like, it doesn't matter what you trade, because when it comes to day trading in general, it's really about finding your risk reward setups, and then making your trades off of that. So this isn't a long-term thing where you believe in Tesla, or you believe in something else. You're basically just looking at patterns. You're getting in and out, and then you're using your leverage account, or AKA your margin account, to make that bet. So for me, I don't have to have the best track record, right? Like, you really don't. You can just you can have a 40% win rate and make money, right? Like, you're a winner if you're trading 40%. And so just to do the math really quick, Justin, I'm sure you heard this, RJ, but 40% when you're trading 1 to 3 every single time is good. And I'll do the math, right? So let's say you do get access to capital, 100,000, and you're like, okay, great. Where do I go from here? All right. So 4 out of 10 just means I lost 6 trades. So if I'm trading, if I'm risking $1,000 for each trade, that means I lost 6,000, right? But the other 4 winners, I made $3,000 on those trades because I was finding 1 to 3 risk reward setups. So 3,000 times 4 is 12 grand minus the 6,000 that I lost. I'm still up $6,000 for the month with that ratio, right? And so 40% is it's okay. You know, it's okay. There's some traders that have different strategies. You know, they might have 50% win ratios, but they might be setting up 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 risk reward ratios. So they have to be a little bit better. And for me as a swing trader, I let the trade kind of breathe. So I don't have to be on the 5 minute and like stressing out, watching the candles go up and down super fast. I look at the daily, the 4 hour. I go into a trade. If I see a 1 to 3, I get in it, and I don't have to have the best ratio to make money in the markets. And so yeah, that's kind of like my passion. That's how I'm able to manage, job, and technically I am a full-time trader, but I'm only on the charts 3 hours a week. You know what I mean? Because most of the time, once you set your trade, it does its thing. You set your stop loss, you set your take profit, and it's either going to win or lose. So So what the heck? How am I typing? What's the best way to learn about the right choices when it comes to this topic? Okay, maybe that's my bot. I don't know. I set something up, but so do you guys have any questions so far? RJ, Justin? Okay, cool. So what I want to do for you, Justin, I want to share, and also you, RJ, but basically, Baby Pips is kind of like, it's like a Wikipedia for the foreign exchange market. So I would, pick up just everything in here just to kind of learn the fundamentals, how you make money in Forex. But once you have like the fundamentals down when it comes to just terminologies and everything, then we'll start getting into the charts more, start marking up patterns. And I'm actually going to do that right now for a little bit because it's Sunday and I want to be able to find some opportunities. But so this is basically what I'm going to be doing on a weekly basis because I'm back in the markets full time. And so Sunday, the markets aren't moving around, but I still want to be able to, find opportunities for come Monday. And so these are the instruments that I look at on a weekly basis. Euro JPY, basically the euro against the yen, British pound against the yen, British pound against the dollar. I love trading the NASDAQ because it's a little bit more volatile and you can make more money. Gold, I do watch it, but I don't really trade it too much. And then this is actually one of my favorite. Oh, Baby Pips. Yeah, I got you. So babypips.com if you want to write that down. It's absolutely free. They don't really upsell you on anything. And you can learn a lot about technical analysis, psychology, just everything under the sun when it comes to Forex in general. So I don't have a course or anything right now, but I will provide a free course on my strategy. I finally bought a software that's going to be able to host all my content for you guys. So, I'll have the YouTube where I do kind of like, everything, but this will be like a module based course where I'm kind of ushering you in the right direction when it comes to, learning how to trade, learning how to mark up charts with technical analysis, how to get access to capital, and then finally, the people who are funded and the people who have, real capital to trade with, we'll start putting those individuals into more of a focus group in my Discord group, and then we can actually discuss like opportunities in the markets to make some real money. There are, I think there's like 63 people now in the Discord, but it's like everything. Like in the beginning, like people are gonna join, but they don't really want to be active, and then slowly, like there's gonna be more active people, and then it'll eventually become a lot more like a community versus just a list of people who are inactive. So that's my hope. I think in the last week I've added like 12 people. So my content is definitely helping to get people into the Discord group, and my goal is just to like hop on lives and just have fun. We chill on Sunday for an hour, we look at the charts, and then we go about our day. I appreciate you, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna mark up some charts really quick. Feel free to ask any questions because I'm actually gonna fly through this. So I'm gonna be looking at the charts like you guys aren't even here. So if you have like any technical questions, just ask away, okay? So I'm gonna start off with US 30. US 30 in the Forex market is basically a derivative of the Dow Jones, right? Dow Jones is the top 30 companies in America, hence US 30. So technical analysis is basically looking at patterns in the market on a specific instrument, and you're able to find those risk reward setups. So I'm going to get rid of these drawing tools, and we're going to see that the Dow Jones is at its all-time high, right? So let's get rid of this really quick. So this is the Dow Jones. Let me actually do this really quick for you guys. Boom. Okay, US 30. So if we scale out to the 1 week, right? You're gonna see that we are literally at its all-time high, right, in history. So it's very bullish right now, but don't get too excited because after a big bull run, there's always a pullback. And so with technical trading, you can understand the probability of a pullback based off of marking up your charts. Justin, if you're familiar with this, just let me know. If you're not, feel free to ask questions. RJ, I think you're familiar with this. So basically, marking up charts, the most fundamental way to find support and resistance is going over here to your tool. You see a horizontal line, and then basically, cool. Thanks, man. And a really easy way to find support and resistance is going to this at first when you're zoomed out on a higher time frame. So I'm on D, just means daily, and then I look for these points, right? So right here you can see that it's like a vertex, right? Like just a point. So price kind of consolidates in these areas, and it either goes the other way, right, or it bounces. So basically price comes up, come down, and then bounces, right? So that is just an area where price is having a hard time breaking above or below. And so I'm going to mark that as a line. Same thing right here, right? And you'll get like real quick with it once you start looking at charts all the time. But there's 2 areas right here and then 3, right? And so that is another solid area of resistance. So I'm on the daily, right? So I don't really see a lot of common points. So now I'm going to drill down to the 4 hour. So what this is called is multi-time frame analysis. It's a fancy word from scaling from a bird's eye view to a smaller time frame. And so now that I couldn't find, multiple vertexes, I'm gonna go to the 4 hour and try to find some, right? So right here goes another one, because right, we have one. It doesn't have to be perfect either, but there's 3. And let's go towards the top of price. So I don't really see too many. Maybe this one right here. Okay, great. So there's 4 horizontals that I drew on the 4 hour now. And now let's go back to the regular candlesticks, which is this right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset this, and you can kind of see now it's looking more organized. You can kind of see some sort of pattern, right? So right here, price broke above, was kind of hanging around this support, and then again, boom, price came up, came down, came up, but never broke above. And then again, bounced off of this line, came up a little bit, was playing around, and then broke above. So what I want to do now is price gonna continue to be bullish, or is price gonna be bearish? And so now that I have a good understanding of what price is doing, we see price, it came up and kind of bounced off of the ceiling, right? So this is basically a resistance, meaning if you throw a tennis ball on the ceiling, right, then it's called the resistance. So I'm going to mark this as the 4 hour resistance, because it's basically a ceiling. You can type ceiling too if you want. That's what people call it. But if you notice right here, you're going to see that price came down a little bit, and then all of a sudden it broke above. So right here, this candle closed, went all the way up, and now it broke that ceiling. So every time price breaks a ceiling, that means it's going to continue to go up. So on the 4 hour, this is what a typical move looks like when you're a technical trader. When price breaks, it always comes back down to test the recent resistance. But because it's above the ceiling now, it's creating a new support. So it's no longer called a ceiling, it's called a support. So we're gonna call this a 4 hour support. And just for you to understand what a support is, if you bounce a basketball off of the floor, what is it gonna do? It's gonna bounce, right? So price is above, it broke out of the ceiling, and now gravity is gonna say, hey, hold on, before you continue to go up, let's go ahead and bounce off of this support really quick. So typically when you see a bullish move, it's going to bounce off of the previous high and then continue to go up, right? So if we drill down to the 1 hour now, let's go ahead and reset, right? We saw a huge move to the upside, and then news is probably like, oh, the Dow Jones is up 3% today, and da 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 da. And that's when most people, right, retail traders are like, oh shit, I should get in and I should invest my money because we're in a bull run. So they invest all their money, right, at $1,000, right, or whatever they invest, and then immediately price starts coming down and they panic and they sell and they say, oh shit, I just lost 30% of my account and trading sucks and it's a scam. And that's just not the case, because if you're a technical trader, you know that price broke above this ceiling, it's going to come up. Gravity always brings things down. It's going to bounce off of this support for a possible continuation, right? Because again, we're speculating in the that's right. We're speculating in the markets. So I would say so this analysis is just basically looking at support and resistance and nothing else. I would say there could possibly be a continuation because there was a strong trend. It broke above the ceiling. It came down on the support area for a continuation. for the stock market to continue. So let's go to the next index, and we're gonna mark up. Let's just do GJ really quick. So same thing. So I actually lost this trade. So GJ is basically the British pound against the yen. And what happened right here, this huge bearish move, was there's a new leader in Japan, and they made an announcement, and basically just like it made the market move crazy. And so let's get rid of this. Dang, it's hot in here. Let's go to the daily. You with me, RJ? Everything's making sense to you, right? Awesome. Cool. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to bring out my line chart. I'm going to look for common vertices. Basically, I look for at least 3 for it to be a solid support. And sometimes you got to kind of exaggerate it just to see it a little bit better. But I would say we can mark this one just in case. And what I'm looking at is this, and then this right here. Okay. And if you don't find 3, I mean, you can go back in history and then find one, right? But I don't want to scroll all the way back there. This is good enough because we're on the daily time frame. And then, so this would be a support, right? Because price used to be up there. So we'll say support, or you can call it a floor. Dang, can't even type. Damn. What the hell is wrong with my F? Tripping. Okay. So now let's find another area, common interest. Right, so I don't really see too many, I don't, oops. What the heck? Sorry guys, going too fast. Oh, it's hot in here. So I'm gonna go to the 4-hour just to find some more common vertices. So I'm on the 4-hour now, and let's find. Okay, cool. So this looks good right here. All right, so we have one that almost touched. We have 2, and then we have 3. And then this one looks legit as well. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now that the line chart just helps you visually because there's less noise. But basically we're doing the same thing if we were to line up charts on the candlesticks. Okay. So let's go back to the candlesticks. Candles, and boom, now you see, right, an area where price came back down, same thing, right? So price broke above, right? And again, we're on the 4-hour, and we didn't really see a retest. We just saw price just tank like really, really bad. So how I lost this trade was I went down, right, to a shorter time frame, potential double bottom on the 190 support, possibly. Yeah, exactly. So what I was doing was I was honing in on a shorter time frame, right? I wanted to make a quick buck, and so I'm like, okay, price broke above. So this is what I was looking at. And I actually documented this too on my YouTube channel. So I saw price kind of trying to go above this resistance area. And then all of a sudden I saw this candle. So this candle right here, when you see a candle that has very small wicks, basically these little lines, these little skinny lines, that means price is going to be very bullish because there's no hesitation in the market, right? There's more buyers than sellers, and it closed very strong. So there's two things that made me get into this trade. So I was like, okay, on the 1 hour, price broke above this area and it didn't even retest, it just closed bullish. So I was like, all right, bet I'm going to basically take a risk. I'm going to take a gamble and say, instead of it going to retest, I'm just going to get into this trade because it's probably going to shoot up, right? So I was in profit, like, I think I was in profit like $800 or something. So looking left, I was like, okay, great. I'm looking for the next take profit area. And I woke up and it was all the way down here. But fortunately, I still made money on this trade because what I did, hammer candlestick, yeah. So what I did was I moved my stop loss up, right? So basically, let me show you with the drawing candle. So let's say that I set my target to like right around here. I think it was like right around here when and then my stop loss was below this wick, right? This candle. So my risk reward setup was pretty legit. Damn, I hate when I do that. Scroll over a little bit. So my risk reward was, I think it was a little bit more than it was closer to like a 3-to-1, but I'm going really quick. So basically I'm like, all right, bet. So price started coming up, right? And so once price got like right around here, then I moved my stop loss to up here, like right around here. So I was up $200 or something right here. And then, you know, at night I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm up like $600-700. It's going to continue to go up. I'm going to wake up to $1,000 profit. And then what happened was it just tanked. And so when price came back down, right, it took me out of the trade right here because I moved my stop loss up. So that is another thing that you can do in day trading, right? You can set your loss, right? So you can set up a maximum loss, which is like, if you're willing to lose $1,000 on this trade, right, then if you lose, you're gonna lose $1,000, but you won't lose any more than $1,000. So you can drag it up, and I'll show you how to do it. So let's say we are putting a bet for price right here, and then let's say I'm going to bet that price will come up right here, right? So if I got to do a real example, my bad guys, because price is down here. Let's get rid of all these drawing tools. Okay, so price is right here currently. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say price is gonna come back to this area, and this is just for example's sake. So I'm gonna hit this little plus sign, and SL just means stop loss. So now I don't have to worry about anything. I can just go to sleep and I'm safe. And then I hit the TP, which is my take profit. Boom. So I'm going to put it up there. And then once I hit O on my keyboard, now I can set up my risk parameters. So I just click risk. And let's say I don't want to risk more than $200. So now it's going to recalculate the position size for me, and then it's going to tell me basically how much I can potentially make. So again, going back to this risk reward setup, right? This is a 4.7 to 1, which is that's an amazing risk to reward, but it's only an example. So I'm willing to risk $200 to make $1,100 any day, right? And if the setup looks great, then the odds are in your favor. So now we're shying away from gambling, right? Which is 50-50 every single time or whatever. You know, the house is in your favor when you're technically trading, because you can set your stop losses and you can control your risk to reward setups. So now that this is above 3 to 1, I am more confident to get in the trade because I'm making more money than I invested. And yeah, so that is how you mark up your trades. And so the reason why I like Trade Locker so much is because back on the old platforms, we didn't have risk calculators embedded into the software. We had to like actually do math, right? And like have some weird calculator and then, basically set the lot size, right? And, there's a lot of room for just human error. And so, now that, the foreign exchange is kind of getting more popular and kind of hitting I wouldn't say critical mass, but it's trending and it's, more modern now. It's just like options where you can kind of set your stop loss and everything, and everything's good to go. But can you guys still see me? I think my camera went out. Old school is better. Hell nah. Okay, so yeah, that's how I set up my risk to reward. I'm gonna do one more chart, and then we can kind of wrap it up. So USD JPY is my favorite pair. It's gonna look similar to GJ because it's a yen currency pair. And let's just do it for real this time. I'm not gonna like explain anything. I'm just gonna mark it up and keep it moving. So I'm gonna go to the daily time frame. So we got this. So price is currently down here. We got 1, 2, 3. And then got another one right here. So okay, cool. Beautiful. So now I'm gonna get a little bit more technical. I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna mark it up. You can always adjust this when you go into lower time frames for it to be a little bit more accurate. Cool. So this right here. RJ, this is a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Basically, when price reverses and this candle closes bigger than this one, it's engulfing the last candle, so it's outweighing it, right? So it just basically means that this is a sign of reversal. So we're gonna do this on the bottom. Cool. Are you familiar with that candle pattern? Have you been studying any candles yet? Candlestick patterns? Nice. Okay, cool. So what I'm seeing right now is I just drilled down to the 1 hour, y'all. So we have a bounce, price shot down crazy, which is very unnatural because price doesn't really do that. And then we see bullish movement, right? So again, price came down, it's holding this support. So this is a very strong zone, right? And so what I want to do is I want to start preparing to get into the mindset of looking for an opportunity on GJ. So I'll kind of draw up my idea. So yeah, this would be a swing because it could take a little bit more time to play out. But if price, so we see that price is coming down bearish right now. And so what I'm thinking is price will start coming down to this area, kind of play around for a few hours or maybe even like half of a day, right? And then once it does that, we could see price continue to go up, because if we look left in history, price came back up to this area quite a few times, right? So we see price come up here, boom. We see price come up here, and then, oops. So this is basically looking left in history, right? Again, price bounced and came up here, and we could do it all day. We can go back in history to as long as we want, right? But that's enough confirmation. So looking at this risk reward setup, let's kind of zoom in on this opportunity one more time. Let's say, for instance, I want to go into a buy, right? I'm going to buy at the most opportune entry possible, which is that support area, right? So I'm going to write down possible entry. And then I'm going to put my stop loss maybe a little bit below the support area, right? So right here, you're going to see that price kind of wicked right here and then shot back up. So I want to give this trade enough breathing room and maybe put it a little bit below this last wick, because we know that price can kind of come down below the support before it shoots back up, right? So look where I put my stop loss. I put it right here. Hold on. I put it right here. So it's a little bit below. So I can drag it down just a little bit more. I'm still at a 3-1 on this setup. So this is beautiful because, again, risk reward ratios. If it's more than a 2-1, then get into the trade. This is a 3-1, so I'm definitely getting into a trade. So let's do a hypothetical now. Let's put the stop loss where I just drug my stop loss, which is right here. We'll put the take profit right here, and we'll look at the real world scenario possibility of this trade. So I'm risking around $300 to make $1,400. That ain't bad, right? Am I willing to wait a few days to make $1,400? Fuck yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? Just on a $300 bet? Hell yeah. So this looks amazing to me. But it could go this way as well. So if price continues to push down, and let's say price goes down here, let me ask you this, RJ. What would you do in a situation if there is a red candle that closes below this area? What would you do in this situation? Would you get ready to sell off and do a short, or would you buy or wait or not do anything? You would just wait. Okay, what about you, Justin? Hollywood? You would wait. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would wait for it to play out a little bit more, and once it breaks that support area that we looked at, right, this zone, then I would look for the break and retest. So we see Let's go to the 1 hour. So there's not really a lot of support areas. I mean, I see price bouncing right here and then kind of chilling right there, but these aren't really strong areas. So if price comes below this area, right, then we would look for the next price action area where there is another level of support. So I'm going to find it and then mark it up. So now we are in a bearish sentiment, so I'm no longer looking for buys. But we do need to get into this trade at the most optimal time. So, geez. So typically when price breaks a specific area, right? So same thing as breaking the ceiling, we wait for the what? What are we waiting for if price breaks a certain barrier? Go ahead, RJ. Or Justin. Okay. So what would happen is once price closes below this new support, we would wait for a retest, right? So it's going to retest that support and then start creating a new resistance before the move goes down, right? So that is what I would wait for. If price comes all the way down below the support, I wouldn't just sell off or panic sell or do anything. I would wait for it to start consolidating, meaning it starts chilling around that new resistance. And then I'm like, okay, it's holding below this resistance now, right? So now this is new resistance. So now, instead of pulling out my long position, I would pull out my short position, put my stop right around here, and then take my profit area to the next price action area. This is almost a 2-to-1. I can make my stop loss a little bit tighter, and then boom, we're off to the races. So same thing. So, you know, my strategy is pretty simple. It's very price action oriented. I'm looking for demand and supply areas, right? I look for 3 confirmations on the horizontals. We got 1, 2, 3. So that means price typically holds at this level. And so break and retest is basically this. Let me get rid of all my drawings now. And I'm going to draw this. Break and retest just means price breaks above a specific barrier, retests, and then continues to go up, right? That is a bullish break and retest. A bearish break and retest is the same thing. So price breaks a certain barrier, retests, and it can retest like this, and then continuation down, okay? And those are basically the moves that I look for. And the area of opportunities to get into the trades would be right here, around here. So that's where I would get into my positions. And then that's it, yeah. And then I just rinse and repeat. I look for those risk to reward setups. I look for a break and retest. We can get into trend trading another day. Trend trading is a little bit easier. You're basically buying at the bottom of the support, right? So if you see a trend, right, you know, and you're at the bottom of the support, then I would buy right here and then take it up to the resistance in that channel. So yeah, I mean that's just trading, you know what I mean? And you know, the retail traders that have Robinhood apps and everything, you know, this is what they do. They're gonna be like, oh wow, price is going up, you know, it went up 5% in the last week, right? And price is right here. So everyone starts buying it right around here because of the news and, Tesla and, Elon Musk saying, hey, I just bought this. But as a technical trader, we know that this is a ceiling and it's going to bounce off of the ceiling. It's going to come back down in this channel. So that's how you get edge in the market, right? Understanding technical analysis, you buy at the most optimal time. This is a risk reward play. It's not a speculation on what you believe in, right? And yeah, that's all I got, y'all. So hopefully I'm good at breaking things down, and it's clear and easy to understand and digest. Thanks, bro. What are your thoughts on Robinhood? My neighbor was talking to me. Robinhood's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to buy investments. It's you can do options on it as well. The platform is very user friendly, but as far as like being serious as a day trader, I would recommend having like a computer and a monitor so you can do this kind of stuff and then speculate, because there's only so much you can do on your phone, so but yeah, Robinhood is, it's cool. It's just another platform where you can trade on. But yeah, that's all I got, y'all. So every Sunday, I think I'm gonna start doing this, around like towards the end of the day, and just look for opportunities. So the opportunity that I would probably look at a little bit more is USDJPY, right? Was it this one? Oh yeah, this is the one that I was looking at. So I'd probably like kind of hawk this down a little bit, and once it hits that support area that we talked about earlier on, I might get into a buy actually and see where price goes. So if it works, then I'll have another positive YouTube video update on my challenge. So I'm at 24,222 and the goal to get this funded capital is 27,500. So once I get to 27,500, I would officially pass phase 1 of the challenge, and then I'll be a little bit more credible for my YouTube viewers. Like I'm just trying to show them it's possible, right? So I have other trading accounts, but I want to show people that you can actually do it. And so I'm gonna document the entire journey, and if I win the challenge, then I'll show people that I'm logging into my live account now from Funder Pro, and then if I start seeing success in my funded account, then I'll start documenting like withdrawals or whatever. So let's say I make $1,000 on my funded account, then I'll withdraw the money, and then like I'll go buy something, like I don't know, I'll go fucking do something stupid and just like go to Louis Vuitton and buy a belt and be like, yo, I told you so, whatever, just do some clickbait type shit. So yeah. So if you want to continue learning, just every Sunday we're gonna do some stuff. Hopefully you guys will chime in on the microphones and do the video stuff. I feel like I'm talking to myself. And then let's just get you guys more comfortable with analyzing the markets. And then eventually, if you guys want to learn more about prop firms, I'll point you in the right direction with that. Obviously, you guys know that I'm using Funder Pro, so I'm actually a partner with them. They give me like little discounts for all my referrals. So I think they're doing 5 to 10% now. So you guys can get discounts on the challenges if you guys have enough confidence to take a stress test and be a proprietary trader. That's all I got. I gotta go turn on this air. It's hot as fucking here. I'll see you guys. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. And Justin, we got to catch up, man. We gotta catch up and just catch up in general. Later.